Not exactly a surprise, but Martin Zubimendi to Arsenal is finally done. He's the answer in front of the back four.
He is, mate, yeah. Well, it is because it allows Declan Rice to play further forward and gives Declan Rice that little bit of freedom to try and get forward. Looking at his numbers, looking at Zubimendi's stats, they're not particularly amazing when you see them in black and white, but he does, I think, out of the 20 sort of highest ranked midfield players, I think he's the one that passes forward the most. So that's quite an important stat if you're an Arsenal statistician or a fan and you want to see what your midfield is about. A holding midfield player, does he just go side to side? Does he keep hold of the ball but doesn't really go anywhere? Zubimendi does. He'll play the ball quicker into wide players. He'll play the ball into front men a lot quicker. So it's a really important part of the game.
He's not a physical freak as an athlete in terms of strength and mobility, perhaps, but he makes up for it, I think, with his intelligence.
Yeah. So Zubimendi will replace Thomas Partey just a few days after his contract expired. Sensitive one, this one for me, Gab.
Yeah, Partey was charged with 5 counts of rape and 1 of sexual assault. Now, regular listeners will know, I think everybody and their mother knew, that he had these accusations hanging against him. Later on, there was an investigation. Because of the laws in this country, where I work, where we work, we weren't allowed to mention any of this, even when he was under investigation, even after he was arrested and then released. That's the law. You may figure out why I referenced many times Partey may have other issues. Go look on the internet. I find it absolutely absurd when anybody with an internet connection knew what was going on. And Arsenal knew what was going on. Now, there's a legal principle, is you're innocent until proven guilty. Some clubs, when we've had situations comparable to this, not identical, some clubs, when they know their players is being accused or being investigated, they say, you know what, you go sort yourself out. You're not playing for us until the situation is resolved. Arsenal chose to continue until he was actually charged. That is a decision that they made. They may have more information than I do. I think they're facing some backlash about this. What I refuse to believe is those stories where Partey was negotiating a new contract and they were considering keeping him. I don't believe that for 1 second, that Arsenal would be so stupid when they knew that this was likely going to come. And they knew that either way they had somebody who had been accused by multiple women. I think Arsenal were just counting down the days when he could be gone. And I don't believe, because it really would have been a major, major black eye if they really had considered extending his contract until his case was resolved. And now, of course, we'll see what happens. More Arsenal. Fabrizio Romano is reporting that they have an agreement in principle with Victor Gyökeres. Now it's just a question of agreeing a fee with Sporting. It's going to be north of 70 million euros. Money well spent?
Yeah, I think so. I think when you look at the money, I mean, obviously, all the big transfer now, the fees you go, call that's a lot of money, but you're looking at probably a proven goal scorer, where if you look at Benjamin Šeško, who's a little bit rawer but a lot younger, I think Gyökeres for Arsenal probably makes more sense. I think you're not going to get too much on any sort of sell-on after that, but who cares if you're an Arsenal fan? Who cares, really? You're not an accountant. You just want the best players.
Yeah, I'm not a Gyökeres guy. I've said this before. It sounds like a lot of money, wrong age profile.
You're the one that never gets a mention. And we had a conversation before, and I said it on FC when I was in America. João Pedro never gets a mention, so he's just gone to Chelsea. And Ekitike never gets a mention. I think he's a brilliant footballer. Would suit Liverpool, would suit the way Arsenal play. Never gets a mention. The Šeškos.
Victor Osimhen and Dusan Vlahovic, except for right here.
Exactly.
But hey, who knows how these things work. The one thing which I had to laugh about, I even tweeted about this, was a rare tweet for me, is Gyökeres' agent put out a story saying, like, Gyökeres is so desperate that he's made a big sacrifice. He's sacrificing 2 million euros to come to Arsenal.
2 million to make 20? It's not a bad sacrifice.
Yeah, what he's doing is he's told Arsenal that he's going to take 2 million euros less over the next 5 years, so that then Arsenal can put more in the pot
of course.
for the transfer fee.
That's the way
That's not a sacrifice, dude. Not a sacrifice.
Football has been doing that for years. Even in my day, I'm agreeing with you. What I'm saying is, it looks good from the outside when you say I'd sacrifice some money. What you're doing is you're saying to the club that you're playing for, don't worry about the money that you owe me. I'll make it up at the other end. That's
no. What we're doing is going to take less money from Arsenal, but he's still going to
over a couple of more years
exactly,
extra.
and he's still going to make 5 times what he was making before.
And who cares? Who cares in terms of the amount of money that they're getting paid? You can make that up quite quickly. So $1 million here doesn't really sort of mean a lot. Gab, UEFA have been busy fining clubs for violating financial sustainability. Chelsea, Barca, Villa.
Yeah, and others too, but we're going to focus on these. And these are big, big fines. Now, there's two rules. One is the football earnings rule, where you can only lose so much money and over a certain period of time. The other one is a squad cost, where wages plus amortization can only be a certain percentage of your total revenue. Chelsea, between the two of them, they've been fined 31 million euros. And then there's another 60 million over the next 3 years, which they will be fined if they don't hit their targets.
But in the meantime, they're buying another couple of players.
Well, this is the thing, right?
Blows my mind.
Villa had been fined 11 euros guaranteed, plus potentially 20. Barcelona, 15 million, plus potentially another 45. Now, the thing is, there's something called a List A problem, where in their Champions League squad, and this could really bite for Villa and especially for Chelsea, in the Champions League squad, they can only register new players if they can then move players out of their current List A squad, the one they had at the end of the season, the Conference League, and they have to turn a profit doing that. I think that could be a little bit tricky, and without getting too technical about it, it could slow them down a little bit. So we'll see how much this actually bites.
See this here.
All right. You're not a believer.
Pain in the backside.
Now, Chelsea can go some way towards alleviating their issues if Noni Madueke leaves for Arsenal. Don, apparently they want 50 million for him. Does this make sense?
Who for? Who's it make sense? It makes sense for Chelsea. Doesn't make any sense for Arsenal.
Well, you want the best possible backup for Bukayo. Wait, let me guess. Arsenal have a really rubbish guy who plays on the right wing who's not important to the team, right? Oh, no, wait, they have Bukayo Saka.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So you're buying a player not for potentially to start on the left-hand side, where you might want to upgrade Martinelli, but you're buying and paying £50 million for a guy that's not going to play ahead of Bukayo Saka.
Maybe you don't like inverted wingers anymore?
Or maybe Arsenal think, Bukayo Saka has had an injury wretched season last year. So it might be a big ask for him to churn out 50 games this season. So I get the backup. I get the argument of strength and depth. I get all that. I think Arsenal fans...
It's a lot of money to throw
But I think
around.
Arsenal fans are just buy us a number 9 man. Stop with these other players. Just get us the 9 dog.